The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome back to Blind United Coffee Time with Blind United. Ooh, Monday morning, tongues all twisted up. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed their Father's Day. I got Carol and Pedro in here with me today. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend. Like I said, my daughter took care of me yesterday for Father's Day, so I'm cool with that. And now it's on to the work ahead, getting this week started and working towards this event on Friday. So anyway, tonight we have our popular group, the support group with Dominic Martin. So come on in and check us out tonight at 6 p.m. and join in on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Dominic always finds a way to make you think about things in a whole different kind of way. So it's always really, really interesting with his group. So again, come check us out tonight at 6 p.m. So anyway, we're going to move on. And as everybody knows, it was not only Father's Day on Sunday, but Flag Day on Saturday. And there was a couple things that jumped off on Saturday. But first, one of the most tragic things that happened on Saturday was some stuff that happened in Minnesota. And I mean, although the article is going to be talking about the manhunt, I did find out this morning they did catch the gentleman. So anyway, let's hear a little bit more about this guy that ran through.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Blind United crew, grab your first cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this first article. A massive, multi-agency manhunt is underway across Minnesota this morning for a suspect wanted in connection with a shocking weekend attack that left a state lawmaker and her husband dead and another legislative family seriously wounded. Authorities have identified the suspect as 57-year-old Vance Bolter, who is considered armed and dangerous, and whose motives appear to be rooted in political extremism. The tragic events unfolded in the early hours of Saturday morning in two separate Minneapolis suburbs. In Brooklyn Park, State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, were found shot and killed in their home after the suspect allegedly impersonated a police officer to gain entry. Just miles away, in the town of Champlin, State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, were also shot but survived the attack and are currently recovering after surgery. The search for Bolter intensified Sunday after one of his vehicles was discovered abandoned in rural Sibley County, about 60 miles from where the attacks occurred. A large-scale ground operation is now concentrated in that area, with a multi-agency task force, including the FBI and U.S. Marshals, using SWAT teams, air support, and K-9 units to scour the difficult terrain. Residents in the area have been urged to lock their doors and remain vigilant. Investigators have pieced together a disturbing motive for the attacks. Flyers for the nationwide No Kings protest were found in the suspect's vehicle. More chillingly, authorities also recovered a manifesto containing what they describe as a target list of 50 to 70 additional people and locations, including more lawmakers and organizations that support abortion rights. This evidence points to a premeditated and calculated plan of political violence. As law enforcement races against time to capture Bolter, the state is reeling from this act of targeted violence against its elected officials. The manhunt is not just a search for a fugitive. It's a desperate effort to prevent further tragedy and confront the reality of how extreme political ideology can manifest in the most devastating ways. What are your thoughts on this? We'd love to hear them. Let us know in the comments. Now back to the coffee time crew for their thoughts.
Well, first of all, I want to say that thank God he's been caught and he can no longer do any more harm. Also, I guess it, because of the way it turned out, he wasn't able to pursue anybody else. But again, this goes back to rhetoric. I mean, when you have a person sitting there telling all the various rhetoric about how Dems or far left people are this, the far left people are that, you know, you don't necessarily have to give direct orders for these extreme people, such as this man here, to get the message that they feel you're trying to give them. And they go out and they commit these heinous acts. I mean, again, when he was running for president this last time, he was always talking about how the left was doing all of this rhetoric against him. When in actuality, it's always been him that's done this rhetoric. I mean, but again, it just shows how these people are hanging on every word. They they believe he is telling them to eliminate these people. And that's what they do, and that's just really really sad part about this. All it takes is one person like this, and now we got three people dead. I'm sorry, two people dead, two people injured that are recovering, but there were many, many more people that were on that list. I mean, imagine if he'd have, he had them flyers in there. Imagine if he'd have went to one of these rallies and just started open firing. You know what I'm saying? He could have killed up a whole bunch of people. So, I mean, to get this stuff is really, really dangerous. It really, really needs to end. So, anyway, that's what I got. What you
I
got,
hear.
Cal?
I mean, it's awful. Like you say, the rhetoric that people have in their brains to where, it's like you're giving people permission to go out and cause harm to others for no apparent reason other than hate. Just because you don't like what a person says or what a person does doesn't give you the right to go out there and kill innocent people based on what you just don't like. And it's more people other than him that are out there. This is just one individual that just happened to get out there and actually act on it, but it's other people that think the same way. And who's to say that they won't follow suit and do the same thing? You just never know who is out there, what they're thinking, and what their motives are. And again, he had a list of people that, thank God he wasn't able to continue to do that. Thank God they caught him, but it could have been much, much, much worse. And it's just sad that people exist out there based on what they hear, what they believe, and now they're acting on it. And it's definitely got to be something that's got to change about that. And I'm sure that the person that has started all of this has no remorse about anything that occurs because it's continuously being done. So
Right.
that's what I've got to say. I just it's sad.
I mean, he quickly. He did make a brief comment about the folks that got killed and so on and so forth, but nothing to warrant what was going on. Just another uh, quick note as well. They actually had caught his wife on Sunday as well in a car that had a lot of cash, passports, and weapons. And
Oh
I'm
wow.
so that just tells us that she's complicit in what he was
Mhm.
doing,
Mhm.
as well
Mm-hmm.
as she may be the one that actually led them to him. So
And they were ready to get up out of here. Wow.
yes, sir.
Well, yeah. When you have rhetoric coming from the president himself, rhetoric from the right wing media, the way the right wing media edits, the way the right wing media sticks to every word that Donald Trump says. I was online and they had a post on Facebook that said, "How do you know when you're in a cult?" And it said the next line, "Democrats don't know they're in a cult. A cult is this." It did a whole listing, right? So I comment, what do you like? If that's the definition of a cult, right? I said, what do you call a group within the Republican Party that think they're special and better than everyone else called MAGA? That
Hmm.
follows every word that Trump says and don't think that everybody, well, thinks that everyone else is lying but him. That's what I put,
Right.
because we
Right.
don't
They
have
don't question
nothing
him.
within. Yeah, they don't question it. And the rhetoric from some of the online media sphere, like the podcast that I keep mentioning on this show, they follow people like Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a online um person that commentates that's in the right wing. He sympathized
He's a
with the
Proud Boy. He's a leader of the Proud Boys.
yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think if it's him, but I know he sympathized with the Hitler movement. He's a white
Well, again,
Mm-hmm.
nationalist.
and the Proud Boys are part of that neo-Nazi
Yes,
movement.
yes, but the leader of the Proud Boys is locked up. That's why I know it's not him, because this dude is actually does shows and people follow this person, and this person, Nick Fuentes, spews hate, and they people hang off of what he says, and it's poisoning the people's minds, especially when you call the left or the Democrat leadership devil worshippers, baby eaters, and other rhetoric like this. You create extremism, and you see how these two people did a whole plan to even leave the country. This was not someone with mental health or anything. This was well thought out. These people need to go to jail for life. We cannot have this. This cannot start in the country when you start killing your political opponents because of the different views they have. Yes, we could come to go together in a social square and have debates, but when it comes to violence, we cannot do that. We cannot
No.
start that.
No.
That's not civil. That is not going with the ideas of the United States. When we have open debates and conversations to steer the social idea of what we believe the social structure should be,
Well,
because
they
it's a
want the structure to
collective.
be what they want it to be,
Yes, yes.
not what the people want it to be. You know, and I mean, I'm pretty sure. I thought for sure that he was also one that Trump had pardoned when he did his pardons in January 20th, uh, uh, right after he walked into the office. And another reason I believe so, because if I remember right, I seen something Saturday when I was following the stuff going on, and the Proud Boys actually showed up to the No King protest
Yeah.
In
in Georgia.
Washington? Wow.
Yeah, in Georgia. So
Oh, Georgia.
again,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right quick, Monica said, "Good morning." So good
Good
morning, Monica.
morning.
Yeah, but I mean, again, there was some, some of that going on as well. But again, it's just this straight up extremism. These people that have, they think that they're better than everybody else. They think they have, they do, they're more entitled to, what America has to offer than everybody else, including the people that technically built the country. You know what
Eh,
I'm saying? I mean, this
Also,
Mm-hmm.
country was built on immigrants. You know what I'm saying?
also,
Right.
the last, I think political motivated shootings and stuff like that has been more right wing extremism. People that believe in that type of sphere. There've been a few that has not believed like in that sphere, but there's been more that have, like this last gentleman that we had an attack before that. Also, the
Right.
attack on the I like to say your president, but it's not y'all guys. I'm saying to the people that voted for him. Your president also was a victim to a right wing extremist.
I
So
mean, and
remember
again,
that.
I mean, and the statistics have already shown, these types of mass terrorisms and homegrown terrorists, as they're calling them now, bottom line, the majority of that all comes from right wing extremists.
Of course.
You
Of
know,
course it does.
don't see Democrats and even the far left, the extreme left. They're not running out doing this kind of stuff.
No.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. But yet, every time you want to point, your finger at, the left, and it makes me think about back in the day. My people always used to tell me, you can point your finger at me all you want to, but when you look down at your hand, you got them other three fingers are pointing right back at your ass.
Right. Right.
Okay. I mean, so no matter how much you try to deflect and say that, the left is doing this is all coming from the right. It's all coming from the right. You can't point at anything extreme like this that the left has ever done.
No, because we don't. I mean, we might have some healthy discussions that we all can agree to disagree about, but we're not going to get out there and act on anything that we don't like, because we know that
Especially,
you
hmm
can't get away with that.
Not in
yeah,
an extreme way.
yes,
No, no.
yes. When you plan out a manifesto, when you plan out to kill your political opponents due to your point of view coming from a entertainment media sphere like Fox News, like they said, they're entertainment, so they're gonna try to spin it to an entertaining and their narrative view. So there has to be something done because they start using the word like what Ed said, homegrown terrorists, right? Then
Yep.
Hmm.
they're gonna have to start building bills for this and laws for this that might affect everyone, not just those people. It affects everyone, like the Patriot Act that happened in 9/11. 9/11 is gone, so it's gone. It's been a long time. I'm sad to say we got attacked, and yes, nothing got taken away. Well, let's not take nothing away from that. I'm saying the Patriot Act, the the freedoms that we gave up because of it, and the freedoms that the government don't walk backwards. The government won't give back unless we really push back because the Patriot Act is still active, and they just what a year or two ago they expanded the Patriot Act. So just remember when we give them something, they don't give back. They keep going. So we have to kind of start knowing what we're doing because yes, it is a new president that this is happening and we don't want this to happen, but at the same time we cannot give out more of our rights and privacies because this is happening. We need to start getting this under control. We need to understand on both sides of the aisle that this is not discourse. Discourse is debating, coming together, forming these bills, and then our representatives and senators come together to pass these bills in the proper way, not the way that your president wants, guys.
Right.
Not that way. It's a equal branches of government.
Well, but he's trying to do his power grab thing.
Hmm.
I mean, again, he's not going to roll back any of the Patriot Act, that's for sure. He's actually
No.
trying to expand, with this National Guard and the military and all this other kind of stuff. He's trying to see how far he
Hmm.
can push it. And then once he gets there, like Pedro said, he's not going to back up. He's just going to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing until, bottom line, now we become,
Hmm.
Nazi Germany. That's
Oh
basically
yeah.
what.
Because
But
the
even
branches of government doesn't mean anything to him. He's overstepping everything as if he has the right to do that.
yeah,
You know.
even if there's a new president and might be Democrat, I I I kind of doubt that they kind of roll back on some of these privacies that are kind of gone. I'll be surprised, and I hope they do bring back these agencies that they got rid of when the ball comes back to our court because we do need those.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we're going to get a lot of them back. So
Hmm.
we're definitely going to get a lot of them back. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into these promos, and we can do our second article.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, You can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
Hustling jingles, $10 a shots. Birthday beats and holiday knocks. Gotcha covered for the ones you love. Personalized joy like a custom glove. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford. Got a catchy tune for your babe. Poppin' beats like dreams we crave. For Mama's Day or Papa's cheer, let's make smiles from ear to ear. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford.
All right. Well, again, remember, folks, them jingles are not just for, birthdays and stuff like that. It's for any special occasion, graduations, weddings, birthdays. Again, Father's Day, Mother's Day has gone past, but, there's always something special coming up. Maybe somebody got a new job. Maybe somebody made an honor roll. Who knows? Whatever, we can hook you up. Well, I'm saying we, but it's actually Brother Pedro over there that's doing all the magic. So I appreciate him. Tisha says good morning. So good morning, Tisha.
Morning, Tisha.
So anyway, let's get into this next one with all the rhetoric about, what was going to go on in Washington on Saturday. It didn't necessarily turn out the way he wanted it to. So check this out.
Hey, Blind United crew. Grab your next cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into the second article. Over the weekend, the nation's capital hosted the large-scale military parade championed by the president. The event, meant to be a grand display of American military power to celebrate the Army's 250th anniversary, has instead become a flashpoint of controversy, with intense debate now focused on its attendance, its staggering cost, and the widespread outrage it has generated. Contention immediately arose over the crowd size. While the administration has touted the event as a massive success attended by huge numbers of patriots, photos and independent analyses suggest a much more modest turnout. This low attendance stood in stark contrast to the millions who reportedly participated in the No Kings counter-protests across the country on the same day. Adding to the controversy was the parade's enormous price tag. According to reports from the Pentagon and government watchdog groups, early estimates place the total cost between $25 and $45 million. This figure includes the immense logistical expense of transporting heavy armored vehicles, flight hours for dozens of helicopters, and massive security costs. Critics were quick to point out that these funds could have been used for pressing needs like veterans' health care. The outrage also extended beyond just the numbers. For many, the parade symbolized a troubling politicization of the armed forces, with a number of retired generals voicing their concern that the military should remain nonpartisan. Coming so soon after the deployment of troops in Los Angeles, opponents described the imagery of tanks in the streets of Washington as deeply unsettling and contrary to American democratic traditions. Ultimately, the military parade seems to have deepened the country's divisions rather than uniting it. The debates over the low attendance, the high cost, and the very appropriateness of the event itself are now at the center of the national conversation. What are your thoughts on this? We'd love to hear them. Let us know in the comments. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, I'm glad he flopped. I really am. I mean, they talking about they prepared for 200,000 immediately after it was over with. His press secretary jumped out there, or whoever the dude was. But anyway, somebody Chong, something like that. It was successful. Over 250,000 people showed up. But again, the video and photographic evidence does not show that. It actually shows that he's lucky if he had a couple thousand people up in there. You know, I mean, it's so quiet. I mean, I've been listening to little clips all day Sunday or whatever, where it was actually so quiet you could actually hear the wheels on the tanks squeaking. You know, I imagine that noise, that sound right there, just irritates him. It's gonna give him nightmares. Because again, he does everything depending on the size. You know what I'm saying? He wants it, and even when it's not, he's going to claim it is. I mean, they jumped out there and said he had over 250,000 people, and then in the next breath, they want to say that the No King's Day protest was a big failure. It wasn't. It was a super success. So again, it's his rhetoric. He wasted a bunch of money. He wanted everybody to celebrate his birthday, and he wanted to disguise it on as the anniversary 250th anniversary of the Army. We don't do military parades. We do stuff where we welcome our troops back home when they come back at the end of a war, stuff like that. But as far as putting all of our military and all of our arsenal on display like that, no, that ain't what America does. We don't need to show people that, just our strength that way. We show our strength by going, getting the job done, and coming back home. That's what we do. We don't brag about it. We just go get it done and come back home. If we're going to help somebody, then we go help who we going to help, and then we come back home. So again, I'm glad that he failed. I'm sorry for all the money that got wasted, but again, I didn't vote for him. This is all on the people that voted for him, and that's what I got.
I hear you. I mean, I just couldn't imagine. And I think they kind of lowballed the amount of money. I'm sure it was so much more than 25 to 45 million dollars that they spent. But here it is. It's his birthday, it's Father's Day weekend, and I'm sure that just was not what he planned. He's always said that he's had these enormous crowds, but he's always over exaggerating the truth. And I mean, like you say, you heard the tires squeaking on the tanks. That lets you know nobody was yelling and celebrating and really proud of this event. They were doing something else, letting him know we don't want this, man. We don't like this. We are protesting against something that you're doing that we just don't like. And nobody, according to him, is supposed to do anything like that. So I'm sure he feels awful this morning. He is fussing around the White House. I mean, everybody's probably hopping like a bunny because they don't know what's going on with him. You know, this big success that he had planned, and here it is, boom, it just did not turn out that way. And I'm
Yeah.
not upset about it either. I really ain't.
Not only that, I mean, I don't know if anybody just followed anything about this, but they actually have not only footage of him, but other political representatives that were there with him in his little private box, whatever it was he had set up to watch the parade.
Mm.
They were sleeping. It was that boring. It was that boring. So,
Wow, wow, yeah, and
Oh Lord.
guys, using so much money, and that's what the army has estimated, but we still have not estimated what the city damage is gonna have to uh, uh, clean up, even the damaged roads and things like that they have to fix up.
That's
So
right, Pedro.
it's gonna be more than $45 million. It could go up more than that. Uh, to come out and try to show a parade and try to show our missiles. I think he doesn't understand how things work. I believe dictators do that parade to show the world, look, I came up on more weapons just in case you want to attack me. But he doesn't understand. We're the most powerful country. Our arsenal is huge. Everybody wants our weapons. We got weapons that are only for our country use. We got weapons that are classified and deep and in some of these deep bases. You know what I mean? Weapon
Mm-hmm.
especially for us. And we don't need to boast. A true leader doesn't need to boast what they have, because and then what? You're giving out what we have. You're letting
Right.
people know this is what I have here. Like, come and take it.
It's no longer a secret.
It's no longer a secret or top secret or classified.
That's right. I
Yeah,
agree.
and then thinking yes, we do need to celebrate those folks that go out there and battle and when they come home, of course. But to do it under the whim of the president and be like, oh, we need to show big parade and big tanks and big missiles and big everything and big box and big crowds and the weather was perfect. I mean, it's all lines, and the sad reality is, Carol, that people are going to believe that there were 200,000 people there.
Yeah, they're
People
gonna
are
believe
gonna
it.
believe that people were there cheering, and it was a good turnout. People are gonna believe that the No King protest was not popular, that there were no one there. They're gonna believe that. It's
Mm-hmm.
the sad part.
That
And
is the sad part.
and some of these youngsters and some of these elderly people that just only watch Fox News, or like the youngsters just stuck on that spectrum. And if you're talking, your mic is not working. But
No,
yeah,
I'm back.
oh,
No,
okay, okay,
yeah, I
I'm just
fixed
making
it.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, but yes, so it's sad to say, because people just see what's on the surface and they don't go deep and then just run with it and believe it, and that's it.
And the sad thing is, like the article said, he could have utilized that money for so much more to appreciate the military instead of displaying everything that we have on display for nothing. For what? For
Well,
for what? This is
but
an
at the same,
anniversary,
but it,
250 years to celebrate, and here it is. You're spending money that they can use.
but at the same time, he doesn't even have the ability to put everything that we have on display like that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Right,
I
right.
mean,
It's too much. It's too
it,
much.
it's just an ego thing, and as far as the money's concerned, he don't care. Look at everything he's doing that is harming people in the middle and lower class. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Everything
right.
he
Yes.
does benefits
Taking
the
these
upper class.
programs
You know what I'm saying?
away, and
Yes, they're
Right quick.
calculating. Mhm.
Right quick. God first says that she was happy to see, people come together, Americans, in peaceful protest. I mean, that's what America's all
that's
about. We
right.
come
God
together
first.
peacefully when it
Hmm.
comes time to do stuff like
Mhm,
this.
That's
mhm.
right.
But again, there's so many things he could have used that money on. And again, the military is saying between 25 and 45 million. That's just about transporting the equipment from Texas all the way to DC. Don't forget
Hmm.
now they got to transport it back.
That's right.
uh, they had to convert the tracks on the tanks from the full metal tracks to rubber tracks so that they wouldn't necessarily tear up the streets. But now, once you get into what the city had to do, because those tanks are so heavy, they literally had to put steel plates down in the street to keep the tanks from sinking into the blacktop.
Mm,
Okay.
mm, mm.
Now, they had to put all that stuff. Guess what? They got to pull all that stuff back down. Not only that, he had it fenced off. He had the whole area fenced off.
Wow.
Okay, now you act like that didn't cost money, and not only that, it's going to cost money to pull it back down.
And
But
I
one
bet
little
you, I bet you
One,
the immigrants were putting up all this stuff, the stuff that
one
that
more
he's
thing I thought
complaining
that was
about.
one more thing I thought that was actually pretty funny was what was that? Somebody was talking about how the military, as they were marching,
Mm.
they wasn't really marching; they were just walking.
Okay.
No, they
Yeah,
weren't.
when the army had to march in position in unison, they were just walking like regular, and people believe that they were doing that in protest of his parade.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
who wanted to be there?
they didn't want to be there.
I mean, come on now. If anything, they should have got the day off. I mean, they
Right?
are the military. They
For
are the
real.
army.
Or look, if you're gonna spend 45 million, give them a
How
bonus.
about that
Yes,
part?
that's right.
That little
That's
funky
right. Spend it
paycheck
on
they got for
something.
being on duty. And I mean, I seen that the other day. Guess how much the enlisted man makes when he first joins the military? Guess how much money he makes a year?
15,000.
A little bit more than that.
Okay.
I say around 22.
No, they make 19 grand a year.
What? That's it.
Oh, that's less
That's
than
it.
minimum.
Oh, what a slap in the face to our military.
$19,000. Okay, 19 grand a year. You sign up to you think you finna have it made. No, 19 grand a year. I mean,
That's a
minimum
slap
wage
in the
right
face
now
to
Oh,
our
should be at least
military.
2 grand
Really.
a month, and
Right.
that's not even 2 grand a month.
No, it's
24
not.
would give you 2 grand a month.
That's right. That's right.
Come on, man. So
You
this
couldn't
is,
even round it off to 20,000. Jesus Christ.
I, I mean,
And that's still lowballing.
it's just crazy. Again, there's so much better ways that money could have been spent. You know what I'm saying? Whether put it back into the VA where you took money from. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's right.
There's so many other programs that you're cutting that are necessary for our society. You know what I'm
hmm
saying?
but
And
Mm-hmm.
you taking them away. I mean, it just does
hmm
not make any sense.
but the reason is that he's cutting all these programs off because the statistics are coming out that he's gonna add $5 to $7 trillion to our deficit. In
Yeah,
our
over 10 years it's going to get that high, but it's going to add 2 point something immediately.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in total, like that's a lot, Mister. I want to save everywhere and this and that. It's a
No,
Well,
he's
bullshit.
no,
not
no,
It's a
no.
lie.
saving. He
It's
he's
all a lie.
gaining and we're losing
It's all a lie. Everything that comes out of his mind. You know how you can tell when Trump is lying?
when he opens his mouth.
When his lips will start moving.
Right. Right.
It's simple. It's really
Mm,
just that simple. Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. If he was trying to save the government money, number one, he wouldn't have done this parade. Number
true.
two, he wouldn't have be spending right now. He has spent at least 1/3 of his time that he's been in office this far golfing on vacation.
That's
Look
sad.
at look at how much money he's wasting. Like for instance, that stunt he did where he had Air Force One do a flyover in Daytona Speedway.
And
Come
then
on, man! To announce that you're,
fuel. Fuel is expensive to begin with.
and then you gonna go sit there and go do hot laps around the goddamn raceway in the beach. Come on.
Unplanned at that.
Yeah.
Unplanned.
Unplanned. He just came in and disrupted the whole Daytona 500.
They come to see
Okay.
a race. They don't want to see him.
They don't want to see
And the
him.
Super Bowl. And
Yeah,
the
he did.
Super Bowl.
He went to the Super
And
Bowl too.
and
All
and and was disrespectful because he couldn't stay all the way. He like, you know what? I'm
I gotta
leaving.
go.
Yeah,
Here I
like what?
come, but I gotta go.
What was the point to the whole thing? Is my thing. No coordination. He moves all erratically. He couldn't even stay to the end of the game to show respect to the crowd watching, to the sport, to the event. He just showed up out the blue and disturbed everybody. Everybody coming into the stadium had to wait an hour or two extra because he was coming in
But that's
unannounced.
that's the point. He's showing that I can do anything I want and can't nobody do nothing about it.
And then that's the way he wants everybody to believe, and then right now, thus far, he's getting his way.
He
So,
getting away with it. Yeah.
well, let me go here. We're going to do these last two promos, but he didn't get his way on Saturday everywhere he thought he was going to get his way. So let's do these promos and we'll get into the last article. Did you know Blind United offers free training in assistive technology? We call them interest groups. We offer training in JAWS, NVDA, iPhone, iPad, as well as Meta Ray-Bans. We also have groups like support group, cooking groups, and crafting groups. There are also groups for entertainment like movie night and RS game night. For more information about all the interest groups that we offer, just email us at info@blindunited.org or visit our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Group. We would love to have you be part of the Blind United crew.
I know it sounds wrong. Yeah. Showstar star, it's 21st, and we're setting it off. Blind United's popping with that handmade sauce. Necklaces, bracelets, jewels that gleam, mosaics and pastries like a sweet dream. Made by the people, I love no cap. Supporting our artists, now that's a wrap. Step to the fair, yeah, roll through the door. Blind United's got what you're looking for. Crafts, good vibes, and a whole lot of heart. This ain't just shopping, this here is art. Step to the fair, yeah, roll through the door. Blind United's got what you're looking for. Cookies, candles, and that custom bling. Supporting small makers doing their thing. Real talk, every item's got a soul. So grab your folks and let's hit that go. From the blind to the bold, from the hands to the heat. Every booth got a story, every table a beat. Come early, come ready, show love, don't play. We're building a vibe that won't fade away. So tune and pull up, it's the coffee time way. Craft fair on the 21st, don't delay. We doing it live, Blind United on the rise. Just come catch that spark and support with pride.
And don't forget to stop by the Blind United table and pick up your, bring a cane, donate a cane for Jimmy, and you can give and get yourself an opportunity to win a prize. So, again, stop by the Blind United table. We'll have a lot of stuff going on there that day. So, again, come on out and support. So, anyway, let's get into this third one. This one here is going to be more about No King's Day protest and what a great success it was. So check this out.
Hey, Blind United crew. Grab another cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this final article. While the official military parade took place in Washington, D.C. over the weekend, a much different and far larger event unfolded across the rest of the nation. The No King's Day of Defiance saw millions of Americans gather in their own communities, and reports are now painting a clear picture of the event's defining features, its massive attendance, its overwhelmingly peaceful mood, and the small but vocal presence of counter-protesters. The scale of the coordinated protest was immense. Organizers estimate that millions of people participated in more than 1,500 separate rallies on Saturday. From small towns to major cities, citizens gathered in a widespread display of grassroots activism, providing a stark contrast to the modest crowd that attended the centralized military parade in the Capitol. A defining characteristic of the day was the overwhelmingly peaceful and determined atmosphere at these gatherings. This was true even in several major cities where small groups of counter-protesters, often supporters of the administration, also gathered. News reports indicate that in most locations, law enforcement was successful in keeping the opposing sides separate, leading to tense shouting matches, but very few physical altercations. Attendees of the main rallies from all walks of life echoed a unified message of concern over what they see as government overreach and a desire to protect democratic norms. Many rallies also began with a moment of silence for the victims of the recent political violence in Minnesota, with organizers forcefully condemning those acts as being completely contrary to their movement's principles. The No Kings protests will likely be remembered not for any single speech, but for their sheer scale and peaceful conduct. They presented a powerful counter-narrative to the events in Washington, emphasizing a different vision of national strength, one rooted in community assembly and shared civic values. What are your thoughts on this? We'd love to hear them. Let us know in the comments. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
So in the article, they basically kind of lowballed what actually went down. I heard it was well over 20 million people that attended throughout the country. And I also heard that there was actually over 2,100 different protests across the country, including Palm Beach, Florida, in front of Mar-a-Lago. They were protesting No Kings right there in front of Mar-a-Lago. Okay.
Wow.
And there was actually one of his supporters that showed up and said, I can't believe I'm the only one that's here to counter protest. But even he had to comment on how peaceful the protesters were. There was instances where things got crazy. Like, for instance, like I said earlier, some Proud Boys showed up in Atlanta or in Georgia at the protest in Georgia, right? I seen a thing where these guys, they were actually, immigrants. The one guy was saying, where did he say he was from? Some European country, but the two guys with him were Hispanic. One of them was from Venezuela. But these fools showed up at the protest in San Francisco with Trump gear on.
Oh.
And they filmed themselves walking through the protest. And, again, you're doing it to aggravate people. Of course you're going to get people commenting to you and so on and so forth. Of course you're going to get into some verbal altercation. And then he had nerve to get mad. I'm sorry. And they weren't wrong for this part, but they could have did a lot worse. They spit on him. And then what did he want to do? He wanted to turn around and run and try to find the police so he could have that person arrested for assault.
Sounds like a snowflake to me, guys.
You come looking for trouble, you find trouble, and now you want to blame the trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Trump to me. I don't know. You want to create the conflict, then fan the flames of conflict, and then with Trump, he wants to say, well, I sent the National Guard and the military in and I saved lives, Oh, I kept LA from burning to the ground, Dude, it's in a 1 mile square that the protests were jumping off in LA. Do you even realize how big LA is?
Probably not.
Okay, come on, man. It makes no sense. Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, they had it under control. The only thing that threw them off is they had no idea that ICE was coming to do what they were doing. Had they known, they could have predetermined where to set their officers to try to head off these protests before they got out of hand. But because they didn't know, they had to react to the protests as they occurred, and it took them a minute to get everybody in position, but they had everything under control. They were in position in less than 30 minutes. So I applaud them for getting themselves together in such a quick manner. But again, I'm proud to see that our people went out in full force. They protested. There's no reported acts of violence. There's no reported acts of looting. There's, none of this kind of stuff. There's no reported acts of destruction. The only reported acts we got is, these counter protesters coming in and trying to stir up some madness. So I'm happy for the American people. I think that he now knows that he's not winning. The American people are not with him. They did exactly what they said they were going to do. The part of their campaign was, we're going to be everywhere he is not. And therefore they were. They were everywhere but at his parade in Washington. So there it is there. Go for it,
and
Carol.
and that's absolutely amazing that so many people got out there and represented, protested peacefully. Like you said, I'm sure there are gonna always be some little idiots that get out there and try to say they little part or what have you. But overall, it's just amazing how people are just letting him know that no, they don't want any kings. They don't want no nothing of that sort. And they did not really unify and show up where he wanted everybody to be. They were every place that he was not. And I think that's amazing how people can come together and just let him know how they truly feel with peaceful protest. Is not the riot that he's saying. And hopefully we can see a change. I doubt it, but we can always hope. So,
Well, and also just another quick point: there are no reports that any of the No King's Day protests were majority any one race. There was one. You can't say that they were all black. You can't say that they were all Latino, Hispanic. No, it was America. It was everybody. It was white folks, black folks, brown folks, red folks, yellow folks. They were all out there together, just as Americans do. They come together regardless of their ethnicity when they are protesting against a fascist that we have in position right now. So go ahead, Paul Pedro.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that people were protesting. It was calm and peaceful. No reports. We did see the aggressiveness of the LAPD uh, on live TV. There's a viral clip going around social media. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's a ABC News reporter. He's covering the protest, and you could clearly state, well, I'm not able to see, but from what the video shows, the cops got aggressive. The cop was like, "Don't touch him. Don't touch the officer. Will this and that." And he got all loud and belligerent. The reporter started saying, "Hey, no one touched you. We're on live. We're on live." The cop went, "I don't care. Back up, or you're gonna, and stuff like that." He was starting to get really aggressive with this reporter, and the reporter was stating to him, "I'm here to report the news and what's happening. Just know that you're live right now." And the cop was like, "I don't care," and things like that.
oh
So
wow.
just a little bit of
Mm.
aggressiveness, and not saying that's all the officers, just little reports like that. And sometimes it's both sides. It's hot weather out there. It's blazing hot. So I'm glad that nothing boiled over. And
Right.
because the officers are trying to do their work, reporters are trying to report on it, and the protesters are raising awareness and all that. So I'm glad that we didn't have any major reports, any looting, any rioting, because that's the narrative they want to point out. That's the narrative they keep pushing. And the narrative they keep pushing too is that America wanted this, America voted for me, so America wants what I want. Even though I didn't tell America this is all that I want, he told us a little bit, and then their president doing all extras, and now they're they're not behind their president, you
No,
know,
they're not.
and,
No,
and
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 he
this
sees
shows
that
them.
definitely. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure he does definitely this today.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I did see. It might be the same clip. I think it was an actual CNN reporter that was having that run in with the police.
Thank you,
You
Head.
know, uh, again, we can't blame all the police. I mean, we know that there are bad police. I mean, there probably was some police right there that didn't believe in the protests, and they let their feelings get in the way of them doing their job. They let their feelings boil over to they weren't doing their job correctly, right?
Right. Right.
But you know, again, there's always going to be bad cops. I mean, maybe one day we can get rid of some of them, but we've always got people that are going to slide in there and keep their alternative motives hidden until they get in that position of power. I mean, I'm sorry, I see it all the time. I watch a lot of First Amendment auditing, and these cops, they their egos and their un unlawful orders. You know what I'm saying? When they think you don't know what the law is, they're going to try to tell you what the law is, even though their orders are unlawful. I mean, and these cops, they do that. It's just their egos. But,
Right.
plus, I mean, let's go here. I mean, they did start like on Saturday. They started at 7 o'clock pushing everybody out of downtown LA because, again, the curfew was still in effect. So people were pissed off about that. Oh, we got a whole hour left, man. You know what? You've been here all day. It's time to go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing, but everybody had been peaceful, all of that. Okay, the curfew is only in downtown.
Right. Right.
Move the rest of your protest somewhere else. That's all. Just move the rest of
And
your.
I
You
think
can
they
you can
did. I think
protest
they
all night long.
I think they did too. There were reports that were all over. And the sad thing to say, guys, look, they went into the Santa Fe Spring swap meet. I was gonna be there on Friday night and Saturday. I was gonna go, me and Monica. They showed up to the Santa Fe Spring swap meet and went through the whole swap meet.
Oh
On Sunday,
wow.
on Father's Day, all empty.
Who
I
went
was
through?
the ice went through the
Okay,
whole
yeah.
swap meet. Um, and everywhere I was going, when I was traveling around, you don't see people. You don't see people around. You know why?
Mm-mm.
They were at the protest showing this BS dude who is right and he is wrong. But look, to say, man, look, all over the area, places where I go cut my hair, go shop, even go to the swap meet sometimes because they got nice entertainment at the Santa Fe Springs swap meet, a big swap meet. Not only Latinos, but all types of different people that come and eat. They got different cultures of food, but for them to just show up, go through everything, and make it a hot mess like they do where they show up, you know,
Inciting fear again.
inciting fear. And no, the swap meet is shut down. Uh, the schools that are around that I see, the LAUSD, sometimes open up their yard, like their playground and stuff, for little swap meet or little shops to pop up and sell stuff like juicing shops and things like that. All that was closed down. You
Mm.
usually see them on Sundays or Saturdays, closed down.
Yeah.
Even the catering trucks you see on the street where you see mega supporters trying to go get tacos, not there, not there,
Wow. Wow. They're
not there.
scaring them.
A lot of people are not showing up to work for those catering trucks, so people are losing money.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, again, he's not going after the criminals and rapists and stuff like he said. He's going after the everyday hard working person that's just trying to make their way in the country. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
these folks, the majority of these folks coming over here are not here for that boo boo. They just here to try to get their piece of the American dream. Yeah, they may have had to take illegal steps to get here, but the fact that you're getting most of your people from when they show up to their hearings show that they're trying to abide by the laws that they were given a court date. So that means they had to fill out the paperwork. Otherwise,
Right.
how would they even know to show up to court? You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? I mean, it's just totally ridiculous what they got going on, and hopefully a lot of this stuff is going to stop soon. So, but anyway, as y'all hear that music in the background, that's my cue to wrap it up. So again, man, please always like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, whatever you can do, whatever program you on, whatever platform you checking us out on. We could really use the help. It helps get the word out to more and more people. Again, join us tonight at 6 p.m. for our interest group, support group with Dominic Martin, as well as, man, stack them chips up and start making plans. For those that live in the LA area, San Bernardino area, guess what, folks? Y'all ain't got to deal with access that day if you don't want to. You can jump on the train and get off right where we're doing this event. Okay? You can just jump on that train out of LA or San Bernardino, each one, get off in Claremont, and you'll be there. And guess what? As long as you got access, you get to ride that train for free. So anyway, come on out, hang out with us Saturday, hang out with us tonight. We'll be back with you guys again tomorrow and have a few more articles for you and try to keep you posted on what's going on in the news. So everybody enjoy the rest of your magnificent Monday, and I hope everybody's week gets off to a great start, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Oh, I wasn't even there.
It's been that kind of Monday.
It's that kind of Monday.